we are managing the Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program portal. So today we have organized one small, about half an hour orientation program for the Institute Nodal Officer who have been appointed by the respective institution how to proceed further on the Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program. The broad objective, I am just sharing a PPT, and after the presentation, we will take the questions from the institutions and also suggestions in the scheme guidelines or any other suggestions related to the portal they wish to offer to us, so that subsequently we change and modify the portal itself. Most of you must have gone through the draft scheme guidelines which were uploaded on the Vidyanjali Higher Education portal. The major objective of this scheme is to support higher educational institutions, students, faculty with the help of the volunteers. Now, volunteers could be anyone, whether the serving faculty or a student or anyone from the corporate sector, non-governmental organizations. I request all of you to kindly mute your microphone, otherwise the other person will be disturbed. So please mute your microphones. Buddha Polytechnic, please mute your microphone. So the broad objective of this scheme to provide support to the higher education institutions, students and faculty, especially in the three aspects. One is the academic, other is the infra, and the last one is the sponsoring support to the institutions. Now there are three major stakeholders in Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Programs: higher education institution, faculty and students, and the volunteers. Basically four stakeholders. So volunteers could be anyone. So large number of faculty has already registered on the portal for volunteering their work also. The institution has already started posting the requirements. So any volunteer could accept the requirement posted by the institutions. Now we are coming to the one of the major aspects, the role of the Vidyanjali Nodal Officer, the Institute Nodal Officer at the Vidyanjali. What are the different roles? So first role of the Vidyanjali Nodal Officer is to posting of the academic or activity requirement or the sponsoring support requirement or asset material requirement on the online portal as per the need of the institutions, faculty or student. Then we are also going to make one more module in the portal where all the faculty and students associated with any institutions, they may also post the requirement through their institutions. So the second role is the verification of the request or advance support posted by the faculty student. Third is the whenever you post any requirement, then some volunteer will accept it. So third is the acceptance of the volunteer. But one word of caution to all of you, these neither the Ministry of Education, AICT or UGC, we are not verifying the credentials of the volunteers, because all the volunteers, anyone could become a volunteer on the portal and subsequently submit their interest to support any requirement of any institutions. So before accepting the support from any volunteer, it's our humble request to all of you to kindly duly verify the credentials of the volunteer. We are sharing the complete profile of volunteer with you on the portal along with our contact details. So if any supplementary requirement, supplementary details of the volunteer to be obtained, please do ascertain at the institute level before accepting any request of the volunteer on the portal. So this is my humble request, and one of the most important one of the most important requirement of for the success of this particular scheme is the volunteer credentials need to be identified at the institute level. So before accepting any volunteer, please do verify the volunteer credentials thoroughly, visiting the LinkedIn profile of the volunteer or through the CV or any other affiliation, so that only the genuine volunteer request support could be accepted at the institute level. Then after the volunteer provide the services, whether it's academic, infra or support services, The one feedback form to be submitted by the institute giving details of the support provided by the volunteer and subsequently grading the volunteer also. And if there is a continuously poor feedback about any particular volunteer, the portal will block that particular volunteer so that he or she will not able to accept any requirement posted by different institutions. So after you submit feedback, automatically there is a approval for the generation of the certificate or appreciation letter for a volunteer for the services he or she has provided to the institutions. Now, as per the scheme broad framework, there are three areas of support. One is the academic activity support, other is the sponsoring support, and third is the asset material or equipment support. So under academic support broadly, we have, broadly we have jot down number of areas like subject assistance, teaching yoga, coaching for sports, etc. There is a one other option also. Let us suppose that if you think that you need your institutions or faculty or student need some academic support which are not mentioned in this list, then under the other you may also create your own requirement as per the need of the institutions. Similarly, in the sponsoring also we have mentioned number of areas and there is a one other option also. Third is the asset material equipment requirement, like there is a requirement for the computers or a line connections or any other requirements for the, let us suppose a furniture or a boundary wall or a door or a LED. So most of the things we have covered in the portal itself, but there is a one more option other. So under the other also the institution may create their requirement. Now we have to understand how the process flow for the requirement creation by the institute and its support accepted by the volunteer. So first, any institution will post the request for the academic sponsoring or infrastructure support by institute. Then it is accepted by acceptance by a volunteer. Subsequently, through the portal, it will again come back to the institute for acceptance by institute after verifying the credentials of the volunteer, then providing support by a volunteer, then feedback and the certificate generation. Now, in the phase 2, we are going to incorporate the request creation by the faculty and the students. So whenever any faculty or student associated with any institute submit the request, then first it will come to the institute nodal officer for verification. After the verification, it will go in the public domain, so any volunteer could accept. Then the process flow will be similar, like acceptance by volunteer, then acceptance by institute, then providing support by volunteer, feedback, and the certificate generation. Now there is a third, we are also going to make one provision where any volunteer could post advanced support. Let us suppose that institute has not posted any requirement, but some of the volunteer may posted advanced support for the infra, academic or other support. So any institution may accept that advanced support offered by a volunteer. So any volunteer posts the advanced support, then it is verified. Let us suppose that your own faculty or student wish to contribute something. Then for the advanced support, it will again come to the institute for verification. And if it is not faculty or student, then it will come to the admin for verification. Then there is a acceptance by institute, then providing support by volunteer, and then feedback by institute, and then last is the certificate generation. So these are the broad framework under which this particular portal works. Yeah, just so next is the terms of reference. Basically, for the support provided by any volunteer, there is a no provision for remuneration on honorarium. So institutions are requested not to provide any support in terms of the monetary support to a volunteer because it's a voluntary service. So volunteers who are willing to provide services on a voluntary basis need to be accepted and supported by institute. So at the time of confirmation also, please do make it clear to the institution volunteer that it's a voluntary service. Now, for the faculty and the students, we are going to make provisions for the students in terms of the credit weightage for the voluntary work they provide to the other institutions and to the faculty also. For the career advancement scheme, most probably within this month, we are going to notify the detailed guidelines how the faculty member would be benefited if they contribute for the voluntary work under the Vidyanjali higher education program for their career advancement under the career advancement scheme. Now, there is a very simple procedure on our portal for the creation of the institute. So at the initial level, the institute has to log in. After the login, there is a one option, create request. Create request means if there is any academic requirement, sponsoring requirement, or asset material requirement, then any institution could create request through the portal. So when you click on the create request options, there are drop down menu for like activity, then level, stream, number of students to be supported, time, last date, etc. So all details need to be filled by the institute while creating the request. Now what we have observed that in the description of activity, let us suppose that any institution has selected a subject assistance under the activity. Now in the description, please do mention clearly which subject assistance institution is related to electronics, digital electronics, or computer science, which part of computer science, where is programming. So all details need to be mentioned clearly so that any volunteer who has expertise may subsequently accept the support and provide the support to the institution. But we have observed that some of the institutions have posted their requirement, but they are not properly filling the description of the activity. So there may be possibility that there may be a little support from a volunteer for the requirement posted by the institutions. So when you click on the save and preview, again there is a one option, edit or submit. If you click on the edit, automatically go back to the previous page, and if you finally submit, then the requirement will go to the public domain for any acceptance by any volunteer. So like this, in your login, this table will be displayed. So if any new request to be added, please use add new, or you may also export the data with the help of this table. Similarly, for the sponsoring, the new table will be open and subsequently all the details need to be filled. Similarly, for the asset material equipment also, you have to select the category, then subcategory, quantity required, last date for the request, preferred date of delivery, and description. So these are the basic details to be filled by the institute while creating the requirement on the at the institute login. Now procedure for the institute to accept support from the volunteer. So let us suppose that for the posted requirement, any volunteer accepted the support, accepted the requirement of the institute to offer their services to the institutions. So under the accept support, there are options for the academic, sponsoring, and asset material. So whenever any volunteer accept the support for the posted requirement of the institute, it will be displayed in these tables. So when you click on the view, all the details of the volunteer will be displayed along with his or her contact details. Also, you may directly contact them, see request for their CV. Also, we are going to make provision to upload their CV in the meeting also. But at the same time, you may also request the volunteer for any additional requirement before the accept. There is an option to reject also. In case you press the reject button, then your request will be automatically goes in the public domain to be open for the acceptance by the other volunteers. Similarly for the sponsoring, and last is the asset material or equipment support. So these are the broader overall framework and the process for the selections, posting the requirement and subsequently accepting those requirements by the volunteer and subsequently acceptance of the volunteer by the institutions. So now the session is open for your feedback, your suggestions, especially with reference to the portal also, if any suggestion in the scheme guidelines also, so that we could incorporate those features on the portal and subsequently update the scheme guidelines also. One of my request to all of you to please do post the requirement, because in the morning we have checked on the portal, so around less than around 60 requests has been posted by the different institutions. We have large database of volunteers, around 22,830 volunteers are there. So 3 days back, we have also taken one meeting with the volunteers and they have shown lots of interest to support our institutions. So I request you to kindly start posting the requirement of the institute so that any volunteer could accept them. So now I request for your suggestions or any other query related to Vidyanjali Higher Education volunteer program.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, may I audible?
Yeah, audible, please go ahead.
Sir, actually, initially I was facing problem in updating the basic details of the institute. Actually, some details were redirected from the ISA. So, in the head of the institution, the nodal officer of ISA details was coming. Later on, I requested the Vidyanjali team, and finally they are given the edit facility over there. But most of the institutions are might have facing the same problem. So that details head of the institution means in our institute is vice chancellor is the head of the institution. There is a two field head of the institution and vice chancellor or director. I think both are the same.
No, actually there are two options, one for the AICT approved institutions. So separately we are extracting the data from the AICT approved basically database of the AICT portal.
Actually, our institute is deemed to be university. Here, vice chancellor is the head of the institution as well as the director or vice chancellor. So that is why
No,
there
so
was the confusion, but we have resolved the issue.
okay.
One another thing, sir. In case suppose some volunteers or volunteers would help our institute in some area and may request that suppose want to develop a lab and finally may request that you have to uh, write somewhere the name of the volunteer that he has sponsored this lab. Suppose institute do not want to that, what will happen in this case?
I mean, whenever any volunteer provides the services, I think the in the for the name, the institute may mention or explicitly inform the volunteer outrightly that we will not mention your names on anything. So
Okay,
it's a
when we
better
will
before
come to the agreement, when we will come to the agreement, that time we can write these things.
yeah, at the initial level also, because there may be some expectations of the volunteers also. Let us suppose that anybody can contributing substantial to the institutions,
Mhm.
and they wish to have some plaque or plate in their name that they have voluntarily contributed for these efforts. So the institution, I mean, at the initial level, please discuss with the management and subsequently inform the volunteer that we will, I mean, mention it or we will not mention it, so that he
Okay,
or
sir.
she will be outrightly
Okay,
clear about all these things.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Can I pose a question? This is Dr. Shaili Bhashanjali from Sushant University.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Sir, since I'm new to the system, everybody is new, and I'm still trying to read the scheme. My very basic question to you is, sir, as a nodal officer, what are my primary responsibilities? You did outline there, but I'd like to hear from you, sir, a little more, because there is still some kind of a confusion which I get.
Okay. Uh, One of the primary responsibility of the nodal officer is to post the requirement of the institutions or faculty or student through the portal.
My institution, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Second,
I have to first of all, sir, a leading question in this. I'm sorry to interfere. So since I have to post the requirement of my university, so my first job is to rapidly spread the awareness of this scheme in my university.
yes, ma'am. I'm just coming on the second or third or fourth point also.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Basically, as a nodal officer, we have mostly four roles. First,
Hmm.
to involve all our faculty members and the student as a volunteer in the scheme.
Right.
Because there may be a possibility that your own faculty members or your own students, let us suppose any PhD student or a master degree student, would like to contribute to another institution located in another state. So first, they need to be aware about all such schemes and need to be enrolled
Right.
on the portal as a volunteer.
Hmm. Okay.
Secondly, you have to post the requirement. So you have to capture the requirements need assessment at the university level. So at
Right.
the department also, what are the different requirements? What I suggest to all of you that for the academic requirement, please, I mean, we have made the provision for maximum 2 months. So because in the academic, there may be possibility that after that particular thing, there may not be any requirement for the institutions. But for the infra requirement, please give certain longer time to the volunteer. Because in the portal, let us suppose that you have posted any infra requirement, any institution for the 10 desktop computers. So we have also made provision that if any volunteer wishes to contribute for one desktop, then it will come to the institute. Then 9 requests will be pending for to be accepted by the other volunteers. So for the infra requirement, please give a little longer duration to the volunteer so that there may be a possibility of more matchmaking at the volunteer level. Now, one of the most important role of institute nodal officer is to verify the credentials of a volunteer before accepting academic or infra support by a volunteer. Now, how you are going to verify it? First, whenever any request is accepted by a volunteer, his or her complete profile will be displayed on the dashboard of an institute. So first, please go through the complete profile of a volunteer. At the same time, if you need, there is an additional requirement related to his or her credentials. Please do not hesitate to ask him, write him, call him before accepting the support provided by a volunteer, because all the credentials need to be verified at the institute level only, and all the volunteer are on a voluntary basis they are registering, but there may be a possibility that some people may like to misuse it. So it's my humble request to all of you to kindly verify the credentials of a volunteer judiciously before accepting any support by any volunteer for any type of support. So mainly first awareness, second is the posting requirement, third is the acceptance of a volunteer, and fourth, after you accept the support, a volunteer provides support, then there is a one feedback form to be uploaded, to be entered. Already for the accepted support, there is a feedback tab is going to be soon pop up on your login. So you have to submit the feedback for the services taken by a volunteer. So these are the primarily broadly the roles which the institute nodal officer has to do in the Vidyanjali higher education.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. It was very clear. It was elaborate. But to make the scheme a success, in case in future we face a little bit of confusion, where do we connect for clarity, more clarity?
What we have planned, ma'am, on a fortnightly basis, we have planned interaction with the volunteers to take their feedbacks. At the same time, we have a helpline email ID on the portal also. Please do write us if there is any urgency. We will try to respond to your request, ma'am.
Right, sir. Thank you. That was absolutely complete.
Sir, one question, sir. Sir, one clarification. Sir,
Yeah,
are audible?
Yeah, audible, sir. Audible.
Audible. I am Arnagirinathan, nodal officer from Meenakshi Academy of Higher Education and Research. I want one clarification, sir. Volunteer support within India or from other countries also?
Right now, we have made provision for the Indian volunteers, maybe from other part of the. Let us suppose that any persons who is in Indian nationality and working outside also, so he or she may also provide support. But at the same time, we are making provision for the NRI or PIS support to our institutions also. So I believe that in a month duration, such type of support could also be possible through the portal.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Srivastav.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
This is Dr. Vinay Chamoli from Maharaja Agrasen University. To begin with, I would like to congratulate AICTE to initiate this scheme and to make us part of it. Sir, my question is that can an institution be a volunteer, as in case of if we have sports facility or incubation center and we want the society to avail those facilities in our institution? So can an institution be also a volunteer rather than being an individual?
Yeah, sir, we are also working on that particular models, how an institution could provide support to the another institution in the vicinity or another area also.
Right.
So definitely, I think, as gradually this scheme move forward, we will try to incorporate such type of features.
So in the near future, sir, we can expect this thing to come
Yeah,
along with the.
definitely, because we are also in process of bulk support, receiving bulk support from the corporates under the CSR funding also. So we are in discussion with number of corporates so that they can also provide support for the infra upgradation to our institutions.
Right.
So we are working on it, and subsequently all such features would be incorporated in near future.
Right, sir. And to end with, sir, another small question. In case an institution put their request for support and a volunteer like to offer his or her services, how will an institution come to know? Will there be a notification system online which will be generated to the institution?
Yeah, yeah, there are two ways. As you accept any request, I mean, any request posted by the institution is accepted by a volunteer, then automatically the email comes to the nodal officer email ID. Secondly, in the portal
Okay.
also, there is a accept support option. So under the accept support, you may also check. But I think the email notification will be simpler to all of you, because
That's
it's a
right.
cumbersome to check the portal each and every day. So we
Right,
have
sir. That's right.
we have incorporated the email notification for this purpose.
Many thanks, sir. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Sir, may I
Sir,
speak, sir?
am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Sir,
Sir,
this is Supriya Jagtap. Can I?
Yeah,
yeah,
please.
madam, please go on.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I just want to know whenever we are going to create this request, for example, if we are doing for any yoga class or any training counselor, will be this delivery will be physically, or we can opt for online as well?
Yeah, for the academic support, we have made both the provisions. So at the time of the creation of the request, you have to select online or offline mode. So accordingly, a volunteer select the request posted by the institutions.
And sir, for any like other infrastructure, suppose we ask for some equipment, so other things, if you want to borrow that equipment for our institute, in that case physically we have to do everything with the communication with that particular institute, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So there means the volunteer and the who need the support, they will be in the contact further.
Yeah, automatically, let us suppose that you have posted some infra requirement, and any
Okay.
volunteer who wish to who accepted that particular requirement, then automatically notification will comes to on your email and the dashboard also. So subsequently, by login in the portal, you may accept the support offered by a volunteer for any type of support.
So later on we can communicate by our mobile and all those such things, no?
Yes, ma'am, because
Okay.
repeatedly, I am just requesting all of you to, before accepting any request to support by a volunteer, please do verify his or her credentials thoroughly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, this is Bhaskar Babu Sutrai from Aditya Institute of Technology and Management, Srikakulam District, Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Sir, I have two questions, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, I have two questions. The first question is, we are having Nepali students in our college. Almost 100 students are there. Can they register in this portal? The second question is, what is the quantum of amount, upper limit of amount, for which we can apply under the asset? Because some departments need huge money.
No, actually, any volunteer, whether he or she is supporting any infra, none of the volunteer will support any financial, provide direct financial support to the institution. But let us suppose that your institution has requirement for the infra for laptops, desktop, or digital equipments, or a digital classroom, then you may specify that particular thing. And if a volunteer wish to provide directly to the institution equipment or any other thing, then the volunteer could provide to the institution. Regarding your question for the Nepali student, actually right now it is restricted to Indian nationals only. So right now they could not be incorporated, but definitely we will work upon it, how whether we can involve them in the as a volunteer in the process.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
this is Ramchandra from KHIT, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, we registered for solar panel installation engineer, sir. That is in Karma portal. When can we start our course?
No, Karma scheme is different, sir. Actually, today we are discussing about the Vidyanjali higher education.
Vidyanjali.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Lieutenant Dr. Rohit Sachdeva from Multani Modi College, Patiala. Sir, I have registered with as a volunteer also and a nodal officer of college. My suggestion is that sir, इसमें जो आपका profiles है ना सर, profile updated proper नहीं है. और एक जब volunteer अगर किसी college का volunteer है तो it should be under the portal under the ID of college. So जैसे कि हमारे teachers, sir हमारे जैसे teachers हैं अगर वो volunteer.
Yeah, I got your point, sir. Basically,
Yeah.
we are going to make one section in the volunteer login to enter the ASHI details, IC code of the institute. So what happened when any faculty or student enter the ASHI code, automatically the details of that particular faculty or student will be reflected in the institute login, so that you will be aware how many students from your own institution or a faculty member volunteer for the program. So you will.
और सर इससे सर जो वेरिफिकेशन वाला प्रोसेस है वो थोड़ा इजी भी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वॉलंटियर कोई अगर रिक्वेस्ट डालता है तो हमें पता लग जाएगा ये किस कॉलेज का है या भी किसी कॉलेज में अभी नहीं कर रहा, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का है, किसी का भी है, तो उसको ऑथेंटिकेट करना थोड़ा इजी हो जाएगा। दूसरा सर इसमें
just give us 10 days time, it will be done.
ओके सर, सो काइंड ऑफ यू। दूसरा सर इसमें पॉइंट ये था कि जो अब लास्ट टाइम मैंने काफी बार रेज किया था क्योंकि टाइम थोड़ा शॉर्ट था वॉलंटियर वाली मीटिंग में, तो उसमें जो प्रोफाइल हम एज ए वॉलंटियर है तो बहुत लिमिटेड सा प्रोफाइल है। गवर्नमेंट की ही अपना साइट्स हैं जहाँ पे टीचर्स के प्रोफाइल आईडी बनी हुई है। क्या वो प्रोफाइल आईडी हम यहाँ पे अगर इनकॉर्पोरेट कर दें तो उस टीचर की पूरी प्रोफाइल हमें दिख सकती है?
अभी हम लोगों ने दो फील्ड को इनकॉर्पोरेट करने का प्लान करा है। एक तो जो डिटेल्ड सीवी है, जो भी पर्सन है तो उसका डिटेल्ड
सीवी की बात ही कर रहा हूँ सर। ये MHRT का पोर्टल है, उस पे बने हुए हैं सीवी ऑलरेडी। कई कॉलेजेस और यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर्स के सीवी वहां पे बने हुए हैं, वहां पे यूनिक आईडी इज देयर। तो वो आईडी यहाँ पे डिपिक्ट करोगे तो रिफ्लेक्ट सारा वहीं से यहाँ पे आ जाएगा हमारे पास। तो बेटर है कि हम दोबारा से सारी वो लें इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ भर करें, वो आईडी ही जस्ट यहाँ से कर लेंगे।
ओके,
आईडी से सारा आ जाएगा।
ये पर्टिकुलर आप बताएंगे कि एग्जैक्टली कौन किस स्कीम में ये जो जहाँ पर आप लोग एंट्री करते हैं?
सर ये अपना विद्वान की साइट है सर।
विद्वान का, ओके विद्वान।
हाँ जी हाँ जी
सर sorry to interrupt, it's on the InflipNet site.
ओके
हाँ जी, विद्वान का इनफ्लिक लैब टाइप है सर, उसी पे हमारा ऑलरेडी हाँ उसमें आईडी है, उस आईडी से सारे प्रोफाइल आ जाएगी। तो उससे हमें एक्सपर्ट्स का भी पता लग जाएगा तो किसमें एक्सपर्ट है, वो सारा है क्योंकि वो ऑथेंटिकेट है सर। इसमें
ना डॉक्टर रोहित बेसिकली वॉलंटियर जो फैकल्टी हैं या स्टूडेंट हैं अगर जिन्होंने विद्वान पे बनाई होगी उनकी तो आ जाएगी, लेकिन वॉलंटियर इज नॉट रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू द स्टूडेंट एंड फैकल्टी। बेसिकली वॉलंटियर कोई भी हो सकता है। तो इसमें हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं,
सबके लिए नहीं कर रहा। जो टीचर है जो किसी यूनिवर्सिटी में किसी कॉलेज में अगर वो पढ़ा रहा है तो उसके पास अगर विद्वान आईडी है तो वो डाल दे, उससे मतलब इजी हो जाएगा। भी बार बार पोर्टल पे हर एक पे जगह पे उसको इंसर्ट करना प्रोफाइल सारी इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, तो वहां से पिक किया जा सकता है।
उसमें हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं कि जो फैकल्टी या स्टूडेंट की तरह जिन्होंने सिलेक्शन करा है जो वॉलंटियर, क्योंकि उसमें ऑप्शन आती है शुरू में कि आई मीन योर ऑक्यूपेशन बेसिकली
या
तो जिन लोगों ने भी ये सेलेक्ट करा है उनके लॉगिन में एक बार फीचर हम लोग कर देंगे कि एंट्री करते समय लॉगिन जैसे करेंगे वो आईडी और ये जो 2-3 डिटेल्स जो डिस्कस हुआ है कैप्चर करना है, जिससे कि आप लोगों को सबको आराम हो उनके प्रोफाइल्स को देखते समय। श्योर वी विल इनकॉर्पोरेट या वी विल।
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Yes, sir. Congratulations. This is very excellent thing which is initialized by the ESIT. One thing I just wanted to know, tell that, sir, institute login. Okay, when we do the institute login, in that institute profile, we want to update some institute profile. So can we get some edit rights over there so that we can update the whatever remaining things?
We have requested the IT team to make a facility for edit restricting
yes.
the name of the institute and the IC code, so other details would be updated at the institute level.
Yes, sir.
So hopefully within a week or 10 days time, it will be also in your login itself.
Okay,
It is
okay,
already
sir.
there, sir. It is
No,
already there.
in the first login it is there, but
Yeah,
for the subsequent login it is not there basically.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we are going to
yeah.
make it work.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Join. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Thank
I'm
you.
Dr.
Good
Mahesh
evening,
from
Dr.
Acharya Institute of
Srivastava.
Technology.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Am I audible, sir?
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Mahesh here. Please go ahead.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is this platform is only for the academics or the infrastructure, okay, updation, and as well as my question is, can we request because the AICT has implemented the AICT activities in all the engineering colleges. Okay, can we request that AICT activities, that is societal activities, so that every student has to score 100 points? They have made a mandate.
You are talking about the AICT internship policy basically.
Yeah, AICT activity points they have told, sir. AICT activity points said that every single student has to score 100 points to gain their degree. Otherwise, the degree will be not awarded. So that
Yeah,
they have to do
sir.
societal activities.
Yeah, I got your point. Like Unnat Bharat Abhiyan or Swachh Bharat Abhiyan.
Yeah,
or
yes, sir. Yes, sure, sir. Sure.
Basically. So
We can.
yes, you can raise such activity through the portal, and subsequently your own student accept the same and perform it. Okay.
Yeah, because you can connect with some NGOs so that we can easily conduct the activities so that it will be easy for the students also.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, Namaste. I'm Dr. Sardar Patil. Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
Dr. Patil. Yeah, audible.
Sir. Actually, I'm not from AICT background. I am basically traditional educational systems, arts, commerce, science college, Devruk, Ratnagiri. My question is, can we request for collaboration regarding academic bank of credit? Because very recently UGC has initiated this project, academic bank of credit, and this type of give and take policy, either it is available through this portal or else. Please.
At present, sir, this particular thing is not available through portal. So, but we will work how it could be incorporated. I mean, how the institution could be supported for the academic bank of credit through this portal, because right now the portal works for providing academic infra or other support, but at the same time, the UGC and AICT both are going to make some notification so that there is some advantage to the teachers who are contributing or a student who are contributing on a voluntary basis to have some credit weightage or give some weightage to them in the career advancement scheme also. So we are working upon it, but right now I'm not sure. How to incorporate this credit for the academic bank of credit. But we will think, discuss it with the UGC also in this
please,
matter.
please do the needful. So suppose, for example, there is one engineering college from Andhra Pradesh, and we have the facilities regarding the remote sensing and GIS. At that time, we can collaborate. We can offer our service related to GIS education, and that will be the beneficial to the students of that college, and it will be a plus credit in their mark sheet. Sir, please.
We will discuss with UGC also in this matter.
Yeah.
And subsequently okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other question from any participant?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
This is Dr. Ashok from Polytechnic, Telangana, sir. Sir, how far it is useful for polytechnics, and please summarize your scheme details in English, as other people are also asking. Just to summarize for 1 or 2 minutes, sir.
Okay. Basically, Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program has been initiated by Ministry of Education, Government of India, which is jointly implemented by the AICT and UGC. So the basic objective of this scheme is to provide academic support or infra support or sponsoring support to the institution. Now let us suppose that for any particular course, you need some expertise at the institute level which is not available locally. So you may post the requirement for that expertise through the portal, and any volunteer, as I informed all of you earlier, that around 22,000 volunteers has already registered on the portal. So any volunteer goes through the requirement posted by you, and if subsequently they accept the requirement posted by the institutions, so that they may provide the direct services to the institutions. So this is the way the portal works. Let us suppose that Polytechnic has requirements for some digital classes, maybe for projector, maybe for computers, maybe for UPS, maybe for laptops. So you may also post the requirement through this portal. Then any volunteer, I mean, all of us could contribute. We are teachers. So I mean, somebody is from Maharashtra, some from Tamil Nadu, some. I request someone is sharing the screen, so please just drop your screen, your desktop is visual. So anybody could contribute for a cause. So we also contribute, we also enroll as a volunteer and provide support to the each other through this particular portal. So this is the basic philosophy of this portal, because number of times we as an individual wish to provide support to the anyone, but we are not getting any particular platform where we have to approach it. So this portal has given us, all of us, an opportunity to connect with each other, to provide support to the higher education institution, to build, to strengthen our country. So this is the basic objective of this volunteer program.
Namaskar, sir. I am Dr. Nancy Mengi from Central University of Jammu, and I need a basic clarity on the whole concept. So may I put my question forward?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Sir, in this scheme, do we have to, identify institutions or schools in the community, or
No,
this scheme we have to apply it to the students of our own university?
No, ma'am. Actually, there are two, as I earlier also informed all of you. At the level of the institute, I believe your institute must have already registered, because that's why you are in today meeting. So you are the nodal officer who is managing the Vidyanjali higher education program. Now, as a nodal officer, first our role is to enroll maximum faculty and the student of our own institution as a volunteer in the program. Now, by enrolling doesn't mean that they have to provide the support to your own institution. Let us suppose that any student from Jammu who is a student of a master degree program, they may connect with student from Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu for the UG course or Polytechnic diploma course, and provide their online support for the academic expertise they have to the student from Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu or Kerala. So this is the way this portal works. At the same time, at the institute level, let us suppose that any academic or infra requirement you have. So through the portal, you may post the requirement to the other volunteers who may accept and offer support to the institutions.
Okay. So that means we are mutually going to help each other, and all the registered institutions are going to mutually help each other.
Yeah.
This is it, sir? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, that infrastructure support will be on permanent basis, sir?
Yeah, definitely it's on the permanent basis.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Am I audible? I have a question. I'm from St. Anthony's College, Meghalaya.
Audible, ma'am. Please.
Okay. So, sir, I just have one question. In fact, I just want to know, like, as an institute login, maybe, the institute cannot be a volunteer. So the institute has its own login with its own nodal officers. So I just want to know whether, the institutes can, give support or accept support only from the volunteers and not from the institutes. Is that the main concept, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, we are working to incorporate feature to have institute support also. So we are working on this particular model also. But at the present time, the process is for the institution to post their requirement through the portal, and any volunteer could accept the requirement posted by institution and provide support to the institute.
Okay, so sir, the main role of the nodal officer is just to, provide the support and accept support from volunteers.
Yeah, post the requirement and subsequently accept the support, accept the volunteer for the support which they wish to provide.
All right. So institute doesn't have any kind of role to play here. Like, it's just that we have to have a maximum number of volunteers and try to enroll maximum number of volunteers, right?
Yeah, ma'am. At the same time, I mean, whatever the requirement of the institute, you may post through the portal so that other volunteer could provide across India. They may provide your support to the institute.
Okay. So last question, sir. So whatever support that maybe other volunteers require from us, and we wish to, accept or reject the support. So it is mandatory that only the nodal officer has the power to do that.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Just a small question in addition. You just said that, I'm Dr. Shaili Bhashanjali again here. Sir, you just said that this volunteer program is permanent. So what if a volunteer wants to extend the support only for, say, 2 months or 3 months and pull out? Is that possible? Is the model relevant in this scheme?
I mean, I have spoken the permanent about the infra support with the query
All
raised
right.
by Dr.
Okay.
So basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the academic, basically, whenever you post the requirement, it's only for a day only. Let us suppose that on 8th March, you need some academic support from any of the volunteer. So you will, while posting, you will select the dates and the times and the hours also. So automatically any volunteer provides support for that particular date only.
Oh, it's not for, say, 3 weeks or 1 month or
No.
something like that. It's not like that. It's just for a day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Please.
Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, myself, Sri Dipankar Goswami from Assam Textile Institute, Guwahati.
Okay.
Hello. Sir, I am unable to upload my nodal officer's details in web portal. It's not working properly.
What's the problem, sir, you are facing?
Actually, sir, I am uploading all documents, but it is not saved. I am facing some problem in web portal.
Do one thing, try incognito mode also. Sometimes what happens due to cache memory, there may be some error. So please try in incognito mode also, and subsequently, and if it is still not working, share all details through email and along with the screenshots. So we'll look into it.
Sir, excuse me, sir. It may be the problem of uploading PDF or Word document like that, sir.
Yes,
Suppose
sir.
Aadhaar card, they may ask PDF format.
No,
only PDF. I am uploading JPG file.
No,
some are asking in PDF, some are in JPG format, sir.
Yes, I am uploading in JPG format, but not saved all the documents.
Sir, you just read the guidelines provided there, because I think there is no problem at the end of AICT or at the end of the portal. Only problem is that we are attaching different kinds of documents, I mean formats, or else it may have possibility that your content internet connectivity or some internal settings may have problem. You just check it and then you just contact the AICT. That would be more better.
Okay. Any other further feedback or suggestions or any other query?
Sir, good evening, sir. I'm Tamil Mani from Valem College.
Yeah, good evening.
Suppose if an institution is hiring some volunteer, he will be paid any amount, or
first thing is first thing, sir, I just want to clarify all of you that it's not about the hiring.
Yes, sir.
It's basically a volunteer work which any volunteer accept the requirement posted by your institution through this portal. So it's not about hiring. So there is no remuneration to be paid to the any volunteer in this matter.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so my name is Poppy from Bangalore.
Yeah, ma'am.
Sir, sorry. Yeah. Sir, actually, if I wanted to, for example, for my students, our college students, I need some yoga like activities. The time period, how can I guess like about the volunteer? Will they continuously do that, or will they break in the middle, or like that? Who can I trust? Like, who can I ask again if they are missing in the middle?
And basically, see, this is the volunteer work. There may be possibility that let us suppose that you have requested any person to provide support on a 4 dates. in the month of the March or April. But there may be a possibility that if suddenly there is some work to that particular persons, or he or she may not able to come or provide online support to your own institutions. So what I request you to please, I mean, in a small lot, post your requirement on the portal and first see whether the volunteer is properly providing you support or not. If you are satisfied with the performance of a volunteer, only then post your further requirement and ask the volunteer to accept it, so that through the portal he can again provide you support.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing. Actually, from our college, a department, we did a AICT activity program, Swachh Bharat, actually, to near to the government school. That is the government school. So we did the Swachh Bharat over there. So this will add under this also, like in Vidyanjali also. Can I add this? Because the students were not the volunteer. Since I am the nodal officer, I have taken them. Before it was nothing was there. No? So along with this AICT program, we did the Swachh Bharat. Will it come under this, sir?
First, again, we have to understand the concept of Vidyanjali. Vidyanjali is not about the what the institute is doing. Basically, Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program is about if the institution has any requirement for the academic work or asset or sponsoring support. So the requirement could be posted through the portal. Any volunteer could accept that particular requirement. So Vidyanjali is not about the what are the different work you are doing under the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan or Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav or any other scheme of the governments. This is about the requirement of the institute. These are the requirement to be posted on the portal and subsequently the requirement to be accepted as volunteer for providing support to the institutions. Okay.
Sir, I am audible, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, I have one more doubt, sir. With regard to institute and faculty, I am clear. But if we register thousands of students in the portal, each student may send different requests, because one person is poor in one subject and another person may seek another subject. So in this way, lot of requests will be generated, I think. Is it acceptable?
Although there is no restriction on number of requests as now, but definitely as this portal grow, we will monitor all such things and subsequently we'll take a policy decision on it. But right now, what our phase 3 plan is that we are also going to open it for the faculty and students so that through their institutions, they may post the requirement. So there is not only burden on the INO. So INO has one role to play just to verify that the requirement has been posted by the faculty and student. Otherwise, what happens for every entry, the INO has to go to the portal and subsequently enter all the details. In this case, only through view button, you just see the requirement posted by your own students and the faculty and subsequently approve it for going in the public domain for the acceptance by the other volunteers.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one more suggestion, sir. Kindly incorporate, because there are a lot of institutions in India who are having very good support from DST, UGC and AICTE. For example, ours is a FIST institute. AICTE has also supported under so many schemes regarding these funding schemes. UGC has supported us through major research projects. We are having a lot of infrastructure in our institute, sir. If anybody wishes to come and utilize this infrastructure, we feel very happy, because government is spending lakhs of rupees on creation of this infrastructure, but sometimes we are unable to utilize it in a proper manner.
Yeah, what we will do, we will create one option at the institute level to provide advanced support. I mean, there is one requirement section. At the same time, we will create one option for the advanced support, so that whatever the infra or other facility any institution have could offer to the public, so that other institution or a faculty or student may accept that particular requirement. So
Yes,
we
sir.
will
Thank you very much, sir.
I have one question, sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
So registration of faculty member as volunteer on this portal is the responsibility of nodal officer of that institute, or faculty members can do it individually, sir? They are registered for volunteers.
Yeah, they have to register on individually, but I request the nodal officer to kindly disseminate the information about this scheme among the faculty and students.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Sir, earlier there was a scheme like a subject expert in AICTE 1 decade back. whether that is completely called off, sir, and this volunteer is different from that? Subject expert was there, sir.
No,
Earlier.
actually, sir, I am not ever. I also joined AICT in March 2020 only, so I am not aware about that particular scheme.
It is a different.
Okay.
Sir, good
Okay,
afternoon.
Yeah,
There
good
is a
afternoon.
query as this program is especially for the nodal officers and their responsibilities. So by this time, what we understand, nodal officer will have the authority to create the request only. Volunteers cannot create the request. Is it correct?
Yeah, correct, sir.
And nodal officer will only accept the request. Volunteers cannot accept. Is it like this also?
Yes, sir. Because only the institution has right to accept any volunteer, not any individual person.
Suppose let us say I am a volunteer. I am a volunteer, and there is a request from outside for some service. I will be able to accept it or not as a volunteer.
Sir, what happened? I just want to explain you again the process. Let us suppose that any institution has posted request for a class on Java programming on 10th of March. Okay.
Okay.
So as a volunteer, as an individual volunteer, you just go to the search button and click on the accept for that particular requirement posted by any institution in India.
Okay.
When you click on the accept button, it will go to the institute nodal officer of that particular institute. So the institute nodal officer has to click on accept. When the accept, then there is a mutual matchmaking completed, and a volunteer provide online or offline, whatever the mode as per the requirement of the institute, support to the institute. So this is the way this portal works.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other query or we wind up session? Yeah, if there is any other query.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, this is Sumitra from Manaklavanagara Institute of Technology, Puducherry. I have applied for, from my institution, they have nominated me and they have given as nodal officer, and I have submitted that application, sir.
Okay.
Sir, actually, I was late for the meeting, sir. Could you give me in a nutshell what to be carried out just for a few seconds?
Okay.
Kindly
Now,
do it, sir.
so after the completion of the registration, there are two tabs in your login. One is to post a requirement and second is to accept support. So there is a, through post requirement button, you may post academic, infra or sponsoring support requirement of the institute through the portal. And whenever for that particular requirement, any volunteer accept it, then automatically the notification comes on your email so that you can also accept the volunteer support offered by a person. So this is the way this portal works. What we will do, the today presentation we will also upload on the Vidyanjali portal so that anyone could access how to create requirement and also how to accept support from a volunteer. So that you will, all of us, you will have understanding about how to go about in this portal itself.
Right, sir. Thank you.
That's a bumpy answer, Adi. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, this is Rajkumar Pillai. Is it audible, sir, my voice?
Audible, sir, audible.
Sir, actually, I am speaking from Hyderabad, from Institute of Public Enterprise. Yesterday only, actually, I have registered as a nodal officer from my institution, nodal officer. So while uploading the application for the nodal officer in a PDF format, the thing is that whatever the blanks were there, I have filled up with the pen. Then again, when I'm uploading it, it is actually uploaded as an empty paper, empty application. So many items I did, but it is uploading it as an empty application only. Then what I did in the Aadhaar card, wherever it is, there, this one I uploaded. And then I got the information today, I got it. So is it okay, sir?
Because today we have invited only those nodal officers who have already onboarded on the Vidyanjali higher education portal. So our
Okay.
cell must have gone through your profile on the portal and subsequently we have invited them. So it must be okay, I believe so.
Okay,
Sir,
thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a query.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I'm Dr. Lidhi from Guru Nanak Khalsa College for Women, Ludhiana. Sir, I just want to ask, is there some basic requirement to become a volunteer under this? Who can be a volunteer?
Yeah, anyone, even I mean those persons who are in our home, if they have substantial knowledge of a subject, number of times what happen, even the highly qualified persons who are in home due to certain conditions, restrictions or any issue. So anybody could be a volunteer, any student could be a volunteer. Let us suppose that any PhD student wish to provide support to UG student or a PG student, then the PhD student could also be a volunteer. Any faculty could be a volunteer. Any working professional, whether in the private sector or government sector or any other organization, could be part of this particular volunteer program.
So it's a gratuitous thing, like anybody who wants to contribute to society, we are
Yeah,
not
sure.
giving anything in return.
Yeah.
Anything we are honoring or something we're doing in return to a volunteer?
Yeah, there are, I mean, the letter of appreciation will be auto-generated once the institution will give the feedback about the services provided by a volunteer. And secondly, for the student and faculty member, as I informed earlier, that we are going to make provision for the benefit in the career advancement schemes along with credit weightage, maybe 1 or 2 credit to the students for their voluntary work of as per the hours defined by that particular scheme.
Right, sir. Right. So we can give this publicity to our, at least people in our institute, that they can come forward to become volunteers.
Yeah, especially the faculty students and the master degree students, so that because this portal is not for only for the AICT approved institution, all the institution, whether it's a MA, BA, MSc, BSc,
yes, sir.
or
We are
MCom.
not MCG approved.
Yeah,
Yes, we are
yeah.
GCC approved institute. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean UGC and AICC, all the 60,000 students need to be part of this portal. But one of the important role, again, I just want to request all of you to kindly promote this scheme among your students, among the faculty members, among your colleagues, among your friends, among your family members, so that large number of people could be involved in this movement.
Thank you. One more question. So one more question. If I want to register as a volunteer, do I need to give all the details, what all I can contribute at the very first registration only?
Actually, we have made the registration form very simple. It's only because of the reason that there may be, if we, I mean, in the initial stage, if we take too many information, some of the people may not be interested in even registering. So at the initial level, we are capturing very, I mean, basic information about the volunteers, only one-page form. But whenever any volunteer accepts any services, then some more details need to be uploaded by a volunteer so that the institution could verify their credentials in a proper way.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Is it audible?
Yeah, audible.
Sir, myself, Vinod Kumar from KSR Institute for Engineering and Technology, Tamil Nadu, sir. So one thing is very clear that volunteer service in the point of academics, sir. So in the point of infrastructure, so if my college is looking for some support for some desktops, so for example, let's say 10 desktop. So you have mentioned that around 20,000 volunteers has already been registered. So is there any companies in this list should I need to point out while I'm giving requests, sir? Or only institutes and students or in the volunteers?
There is basically one form for raising the request for the infra support. So there are number of drop downs which need to be selected along with the description of the item requested by a volunteer. So around 7 to 8 details need to be filled by the institutions or selected through drop down menu, and subsequently the post will go for in the search to the volunteer. So if any volunteer accept that particular support requirement, then automatically it comes back to your tab for the acceptance.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I am Manisha, Professor Manisha Paldesai from Don Bosco Engineering College, Goa. Sir, my question is there any provision for field visit in this portal, sir? Field visit
Like
to a company or a, like we take our students for a field trip or field visit to a company, right? So like that, is there any provision in this? I mean, we can our institute can take our students for a field visit in a company if they have registered.
Just hold on, we have just Yeah, under the sponsoring support, you may raise such a requirement. So there is a one other options, although we have, incorporated some other things like sponsoring for teachers for specialized courses or sponsoring students for the specialized courses. So under the sponsoring category, you may raise such a requirement through the portal. And if any volunteer wishes to contribute, they will correct it.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
सर
So, yeah, please.
मैं भोपाल से बोल रहा हूँ कोपल इंस्टीट्यूट से।
जी बताइए।
ये सर मुझे थोड़ा सा एक सजेशन देना था कि जो वॉलेंटियर सर्विस है, सपोज जो फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं वो कुछ एक्सेप्ट करते हैं किसी इंस्टीट्यूशन में सर्व करने के लिए, या हमारे यहाँ पर हम उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं कोई रिक्वायरमेंट को, किसी वॉलंटियर ने जैसे फुलफिल किया उसको, तो कोई रिवॉर्ड सच रिवॉर्ड उसमें कोई है नहीं, तो क्या ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है कि कोई सर्टिफिकेशन, जैसे एक सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो जाए उसको कि जैसे ही वो कोई वॉलंटियर सर्विस कंप्लीट करता है तो कम से कम उसको एक रिकॉग्निशन के तौर पे कुछ सर्टिफिकेट जनरेट हो जाए ऑटोमेटिक।
ऑलरेडी है डॉक्टर पांडे, बेसिकली हमने शुरू में भी बताया था कि जब जैसे आपकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है आपने पोस्ट करी और किसी वॉलंटियर ने एक्सेप्ट करके वो सर्विसेज दी, और उसके बाद एक फीडबैक फॉर्म है जो इंस्टीट्यूट उस वॉलंटियर के बारे में सर्विसेज लेने के बाद में फिल करेगी।
जी,
तो आप ऑनलाइन पोर्टल पे वो फीडबैक फॉर्म भरेंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली किस दिन में किस इंस्टीट्यूट में कितने घंटे जो आप लोग मेंशन करेंगे वो पूरी डिटेल्स के संग वो उसका जो सर्टिफिकेट है वो ऑटोमेटिकली जनरेट होगा, जिसको वो पर्टिकुलर आगे यूज कर सकता है।
अच्छा अच्छा, बस सर वही मुझे इस बारे में नॉलेज नहीं था।
नहीं नहीं, ऑलरेडी सर प्रोविजन है ये पोर्टल।
ओके ओके, थैंक यू।
So we come to the end of today's meeting, and we will try to connect with all of you on a fortnightly basis so that we to take your suggestions and guidance to further improve upon the Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program scheme and its portal.
Sir, one last query. Can I have one last query from my side?
Yeah,
so today actually I have invited for one of the 11th and 12th class school it is. So in that, as a academic advisory committee member, I have gone. So, but I have taken permission from my department as a nodal officer only that I am attending, and under the concept of Vidyanjali school education. So the school education is also actually coming under the service from the Vidyanjali. If so, then the college people, how actually they can give the recognition, because physically I have gone over there.
Could you please repeat your query?
See, physically I have gone to the college, and then I have given my kind of my advices in the academics part and all everything, whatever the services that I have to give, I have given it to them. So that how do I actually convert it into this Vidyanjali scheme? School education it is, 11th and 12th class.
Okay, means whatever the hours you have contributed over there in the Vidyanjali school education program, you wish to be recognized or to be incorporated in the Vidyanjali higher education portal for your maybe in future purpose?
Now already I have done one service, so therefore this, how do I actually get back this?
No, actually I have this basically Vidyanjali higher education portal program is an extension of the Vidyanjali school education program. Honorable Prime Minister of India launched Vidyanjali school education program in September 2021, and subsequently it has been decided at the highest level that this scheme must extend to the higher education also. So likewise you contributed for the school education program as a volunteer. So you may also you may also contribute as a volunteer for the higher education program for any other institution's requirement posted on the portal.
Okay, but that school people do not know anything about the Vidyanjali school education.
Actually, we are also trying to integrate these two portals in future. Right now, since the both portal, for every portal, you have to whether it's a school or higher education, you have to register as a volunteer to provide your services. But definitely, in future, we are trying to join these two portals so that there is no duplication of volunteer registration from one portal to another. And similarly, whatever the work the volunteers are providing, volunteer services are providing, could be reflected at one login itself rather than going to the multiple logins.
So how do the school people can register in Vidyanjali?
No, school people has to register on the Vidyanjali school education portal, not on the Vidyanjali higher education portal.
No, that's why within the school only. So do they also have this ISO code, or otherwise how, what are the necessary things required?
In the school there is a DICE code basically. So every school has DICE code and they have to register on the Vidyanjali portal, school
Okay,
education.
DICE code it is.
Yeah.
So can spell it out, please? DICE code means?
Just hold on, I'll just check. It's a DISE code.
DISE code, and then the other credentials.
Yeah.
This
So
is
every
enough?
school has
DISE code is enough?
a DISE code, so they must be registered because there is a detailed manual for the registration on the Vidyanjali school education portal also. So please access the same about the registration process for the schools.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Arindam Patra, any query? Okay. So we wind up today's sessions, and I thanks on behalf of the AICT. I thanks all of you for your time. And again, I request you, because at initial level there may be issue in the portal itself. So please bear with us and give us your suggestions so that we can improve upon this portal. At the same time, our request to all of you to kindly promote this scheme among all the persons in the society so that maximum people could be part of this volunteer program. So thank you very much for your participation in today's orientation program for the Institute Nodal Officer under the Vidyanjali Higher Education Volunteer Program of Ministry of Education. Thank you very much. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.